Central Hubei Operation. The Central Hubei Operation was one of the engagements between the National Revolutionary Army and Imperial Japanese Army during the Second Sino-Japanese War. Known as the Central Hubei Operation, East and West of Hsiang River, in Japan it is called the. The battle lasted from 25 to November 30, 1940. After the Battle of Zhejiang Yuchang in the summer of 1940, the Japanese controlled Ichang and Shashi. The Chinese controlled the area east and west of the Hsiang River. Their lines extended from the southwest of Yunnan via Qingmen, north of Chengxiang, and the foothills of Tahongshan, to the area northwest of Suishian astride both banks of the Hsiang River. The Wutang Mountains were on the right and the Tungpo Mountains on the left. In coordination with the guerrilla forces in the southeast, the Chinese repeatedly struck at the Japanese forces that had penetrated to Ichang. As a result, the Chinese believed that the Japanese forces at Ichang and Shashi found their flanks exposed and in a difficult position. To relieve themselves of this threat, they launched an offensive against the Chinese forces in late November. Japanese sources say the purpose was to probe to find the location of the army of Tang Enbo. If that was their purpose, they were to be disappointed. During early November, the Japanese made preparations for their attack, repairing and constructing roads, bridges, defense works and airfields. Rations, ammunition, metal, and rubber boats were stored in the vicinity of Chengxiang. They also brought in additional troops into the area west of the Hsiang River, estimated at 5 regiments, bringing their strength to the equivalent of 3 divisions. To the east, the Japanese increased their strength to a full division at Suishian along the Hua Highway. They further brought in supporting units of tanks and artillery in these areas. On November 23, the Japanese 11th Army preparations were complete and their unit deployed in their attack positions in 5 major forces. Li Zongren, recognizing the Japanese build-up foretold an attack, had his 5th War Area alerted. He ordered the River West Army Group, Right Army Group and Central Army Group to checking the coming Japanese advance by counterattacks on the flanks of their advancing columns when the opportunity presented itself. On the morning of November 25, the Japanese began their attack in several columns. On the western front between the Hsiang River and Tangyang, over 1,000 Japanese from the Kayashima Force advanced northward from Tangyang toward Hengtian, and broke through the gap between the positions of the 179th and 37th Divisions of the Chinese 77th Corps at Yangqiai. Over 3,000 Japanese from Murakami Force from Qingmen broke through the positions of the 27th Division of the Chinese 30th Corps toward Yanqimiao. Meanwhile, the Japanese Kitano Force moving northwest from Chuchiafu to Tunglinling and divided into several columns to drive north deep into the Chinese position at Liang Shuiqing, Shaoqiadze, and northeast toward Kuaihuopu. At night, the River West Army Group swung reserves into blocking positions from Hengtian to Yanqimiao and Kuaihuopu. On November 26, the Murakami Force reached Xianchu. On November 27, the Murakami Force attacked Luhoqi and the 2 columns of Kitano Force attacked Liqiatang, both fighting bitterly for a day against the Chinese 30th Corps Reserve, the 30th Division under Lu Chenshan, who halted their advance. At dusk, the Chinese 30th Corps launched a counterattack in force with elements of the 31st and 27th Divisions striking the Japanese rear areas. Unable to withstand this attack, the Japanese retreated toward Qingmen and Chengxiang, with the Chinese in pursuit. Meanwhile, east of the Hsiang River on the Qingcheng Highway front, the Japanese Hirabayashi Force massed more than 3,000 men in an attack on Changshaodian and Wangqiatian, attempting to encircle the Changqiachi, Wulongquan line. On November 26, the Japanese reinforced to 5,000 men, advanced a force east to Sanlikang, while the main force attacked Pianchai, Wangqiaho, and Yunnanmen. Heavy fighting lasted until darkness ended the clash in a stalemate. On November 27, the Chinese 44th Corps counterattacked from Wangqiaho. Its converging attack with the main force of the 67th Corps towards the northwest caused heavy casualties to the Japanese. On November 25, the Japanese Teshima Force on the Suishian front launched a violent attack with a column of 2,000 men from Liangchuikao on the Chinese 123rd Division at Lishan. 2 additional columns of more than 1,000 men each advanced west toward Hoyuantian and Qingming-Pu. By darkness, the Japanese reinforced. On November 26 the Japanese fought a bitter battle with the Chinese 124th and 127th Divisions at Qinqishan and Qingming-Pu. Another Japanese force of 700-800 men moved from Shiho via Langhotian to Tangqiafan. Having been attacked by the 41st Corps, the Japanese in the vicinity of Qingming-Pu linked up with their force at Qinqishan and moved to the vicinity of Hoyuantian on November 27. At night, the Japanese force near Tangqiafan reached the vicinity of Huantanchen to confront the Chinese 125th Division. Since its objective was to break the Japanese Force 5th War Area Command directed its forces to keep secure key localities and take advantage of mountainous terrain to conduct ambushes to stop the invaders. Heavy fighting lasted until November 28 when the Japanese retreated. Chinese forces west of the Hsiang River continued their pursuit. The Japanese force in front of the Chinese Right Army Group was routed on the same day, retreating by several routes. Subjected to a converging attack by Chinese forces of the Central Army Group, the Japanese forces facing them in the area of Hoyuantian and Huantanchen fell back to high ground in the vicinity of Hoyuantian and Tangqiafan and were encircled by the Chinese. The Japanese pulled a further 1,500–1,600 infantry and cavalry from Suishian and Yingshan via Shangshitian and Shatian for a turning movement against the Chinese to retrieve the situation. Once again, the Japanese were ambushed. Under cover of airplanes and armor, the Japanese retreated toward Suishian and Shiho, as Chinese forces attacked along the line from Chunchuan to Ankou, Lishan, and Kaohsiung. On November 30, the Chinese army groups recovered their original positions. The Japanese suffered over 5,000 dead and 7,0008,000 wounded. Some 1,000 Japanese bodies were left in the field according to Chinese sources. The Japanese hoped to have a victory at the time of the establishment of the Wang Qingwei regime so as to dampen Chinese morale. The effect was the opposite of what was hoped.